We just got some major injury updates, and this has some very serious implications for the Bills' upcoming game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as the rest of the season. So let's get into it all right here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bills Digest. I'm your host, Anthony Senicar, and we are officially halfway through the Bills season. There's only one issue. 73% of you guys who are watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. Subscribe, join the army here at Bills Digest to stay in touch with all your latest Bills news, because we got you guys covered from wall to wall. And like I said, guys, we got some big Bills injury updates after a disappointing loss against the Houston Texans on Thursday Night Football that put the Bills 3 games back of the New England Patriots for the race for the AFC East. There was major injury scares, starting off with quarterback Josh Allen, as well as what seemed like players dropping like flies throughout the game on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. And Sean McDermott gave some interesting updates for a lot of these key injuries. Terrell Bernard, who ended up leaving the game and was seen in a sling, is considered week to week. Spencer Brown, who was also seen in a sling, is still being evaluated. Maxwell Hairston, who left early in the third quarter, is in concussion protocol. Benford and Epenesa, who both missed about a series or two, both should be fine and continue to play the game. And then obviously the big one, Josh Allen, is just sore after what looked like a major injury. It seemed like the season was gone like that. He ended up getting up, came back, finished the rest of the game. But let's be honest, the season flashed before everybody's eyes when Josh was down on the ground, kicking those legs. It seemed like it was all over. Ends up continuing, finishing the game, and is just sore, so he should be okay. And then injury on the injury front of guys who did not play, Kincaid, Mathis, and Samuel are all improving. And like I said, guys, 2 key factors to the Bills' offense, Terrell Bernard and Spencer Brown, were both seen in slings. Terrell Bernard is going to be considered week to week, like I said, and it seems like Spencer Brown might be as well. Spencer Brown seemed to be injured very early, looked like he was hurting numerous times after getting beat by Danielle Hunter and or Will Anderson. You could see cuts of him leaning on guys on the offensive line. He looked like he was hurting, and it was a point where he was affecting the offensive line play. I think the Bills and Sean McDermott should have pulled the plug, said, hey, you know what? We love you for trying to fight through injury, but you are hurting the team more than you are helping the team. Put in Ryan Vandermark earlier in the game, and again, maybe not cause this Spencer Brown injury to be as bad as it might be considered. Again, updates on both of them. Let's start it off first with that of Terrell Bernard. By the video, right elbow hyperextension, headed for x-rays, hard to play through, but if anyone can with a brace, he can, not long-term or season ending. Now it is very interesting. As I said, both of the guys were in slings post-game, did not finish the game, but earlier this weekend, Sean McDermott spoke to the media, and it is not looking good for that of Terrell Bernard or Spencer Brown. Potentially, Sean McDermott said on whatever or not, Bernard or Brown could go on IR. He added, it doesn't look good for this week at Steelers for either of the players. So it looks like the Bills might be without their starting right tackle in Spencer Brown, as well as their starting Mike linebacker Terrell Bernard. And it looks like potentially it could be for multiple weeks. Now, Terrell Bernard might be addition by subtraction or subtraction by addition, as when Shaq Thompson came in, there's not too much of a drop. In previous years, it looked like Terrell Bernard, I mean, the guy got a massive contract this offseason. He looked phenomenal the past few years. A great coverage linebacker, someone who had good instincts, someone who, again, gets lost in the run game, but the pass coverage skills and the instincts made up for the lack of run stuffing. But this year, he has been very disappointed. Again, earlier this season, though, Sean McDermott spoke about the disappointment of Terrell Bernard this season. He said, it is going to be interesting to see people's reaction when Terrell Bernard when the everything comes out about what TB is playing through this season. I believe someone said put it out of 10, and I think he had said about a 7. So obviously, TB is playing hurt. You can notice it when guys cut to replays during the game. He looks a step slower. He is taking the wrong angle sometimes. I think let him put him on IR, let him rest up for 4 weeks, get him healthy for that late season stretch where we need him. Get him to an 80% Terrell Bernard, because as of right now, he is playing at a 65% Terrell Bernard, and that is not cutting it. I think the drop off from TB right now to Shaq Thompson is not that bad. Some might even say an upgrade right now, and I think you put him on IR and you let him go for there. On the offensive side of the ball, with that of Spencer Brown is a key aspect to the Bills offensive line. He is a mean mugger, the guy's 6'8". He is massive, a unit of a human being, and a guy who brings physicality to the Bills offensive line. Now, Ryan Vandermark is still a good backfill guy, someone who can play in for these few weeks where Spencer Brown is injured. The Bills played out without Spencer Brown earlier this season against the Kansas City Chiefs, last year as well against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills ended up winning both of those games. Now, obviously, Spencer Brown is a major upgrade to that of Ryan Vandermark. But if you got to toss him on IR just like TB, let him get to 100% or at least 80 to 90%. You do that, I think Ryan Vandermark will be able to settle the right side of the O-line for those 4 weeks while Spencer Brown is out, as well as I think Shaq Thompson will be able to right the middle linebacker role for the 4 weeks while TB is out. The Bills' depth right now is being tested on both sides of the ball, mainly just on the defensive side of the ball with the injuries they already have there. Matt Milano playing hurt. Obviously, Maxwell Hairston, who's in concussion protocol. We will see if he plays this week against Pittsburgh. Obviously, Taylor Rapp is out for the season. Daquan Jones is playing injured. Ed Oliver is still out for a long time. Again, another guy in the defensive line who I'll get to is also playing injured. AJ Epenesa got hurt early in this game. The Bills are getting their depth tested on the defensive side of the ball, and I think right now, if you can send TB and Spencer Brown on IR, get them rested up for a playoff push if they get there, let it happen, and see where it goes from there. And not just the Bills, we also have an injury update from the Bills' upcoming opponent, the Pittsburgh Steelers, with that of Aaron Rodgers, who did not play this previous weekend against the Chicago Bears. Mike Tomlin said he does anticipate Aaron Rodgers will be ready for next week's game versus the Bills. So the Bills will be playing a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers in Heinz Field in Pittsburgh on Sunday. They got to get ready to start sending heat because the Bills have, what I believe, still do not have a sack since the Kansas City game. Actually, no, they have a sack against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Daquan Jones' game-winning fumble. But after that, I don't believe they got any pressure after Davis Mills this past Thursday. The pass rush has been gone. Bobby Babich and Sean McDermott, you got to send some heat. You got to understand you got a skeleton, not a skeleton, but a statue back there, and Aaron Rodgers, the mobility is not there anymore. Send some heat, get him uncomfortable. He is coming back from injury. This is an opportunity to get the pass rush back and go from there. Now, speaking of pass rush, some very interesting news on the defensive side of the ball with the pass rush. The Bills brought in former first-round pick and guy who's been on the team multiple times, Shaq Lawson, was seen on Instagram posting Buffalo, New York as a location, was later confirmed he was brought in for a workout. Obviously, the Bills are lacking at the defensive end position with injuries depleting them. Third-round pick Landon Jackson is on IR. AJ Epenesa obviously got dinged up in this Houston game. DJ Sanders was playing snaps at defensive end against Houston. Daquan Jones was playing snaps a few weeks ago at defensive end. And again, obviously the Bills' marquee signing of the offseason, Joey Bosa, has been playing all week, or for every week, but the injury on his hand might be worse than we are anticipating, and Shaq Thompson might be a body the Bills are bringing in to let Joey Bosa rest. Left wrist, unknown fracture, 3 weeks in a row playing hurt, club all the way to a cast this week. Production has noticeably gone down, ideally 2 to 3 weeks for more healing, or if it's surgery, 5 to 6 weeks. Remember Dawson Knox in 2023, 2 games hurt, surgery, missed 5 games. The production on Joey Bosa has obviously gone down. The injury on the left wrist has been noticeable as he was playing with a club this past week against the Houston Texans. And I think the Bills are getting tested on the defensive end position right now, bringing in a body like Shaq Thompson, again, another former Buffalo Bill, someone who's, I think, going to be on his third stint here if he does end up signing on the practice squad. This might be reading into the tea leaves, but this Joey Bosa injury might be getting worse as we are seeing going from just taping it up all the way to a club. This might be getting worse, and it might be leaning towards a Bosa surgery, which would put him on IR and have him miss 4 to 5 weeks for a full, for a successful surgery and a full recovery or semi-full recovery. Bringing in Shaq just might be reading on the tea leaves, but right now, with the lack of depth at defensive end, obviously Greg Rousseau is about the only healthy one right now, with Epenesa getting dinged up, TJ Sanders playing defensive end, Landon Jackson playing a few snaps and then going out for 4 weeks. Hoyt playing a game and a half, looking phenomenal against Carolina, Kansas City, ends up tearing his Achilles or his ACL, is out for the rest of the season. Now, obviously, with Bosa, and it looks like this injury is getting worse, the depth is going to be tested on the defensive side of the ball. And just something to keep an eye on to see what happens with Bosa this upcoming week with the rest of the practice window as well as Hairston, and see what the Bills end up doing with Spencer Brown and Terrell Bernard. But let me know your thoughts below down in the comments. As always, love to hear from you guys. Do you guys think this Bosa injury is going to be bad and out for a few weeks, or do you think that it's not as bad as it seems like right now? The Bills are just kind of being proactive and bringing in another body in Shaq Lawson, just to kind of get some more guys in the defensive end room. And let me know, what do you think the Bills do with Terrell Bernard and that of Spencer Brown? Love to hear from you guys as always. On top of that, if you are not subscribed, subscribe down below. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and every little bit helps. We appreciate every single one of you guys subscribing as always. And like I always said, guys, subscribe, stay in touch, stay informed, and go Bills.